and put that and upload it. So, that's just the way it is in their lives. There's always a lot of waffle. So the first news, if you like, this is good news. This is good news, isn't it? This family from Bedfordshire, this poor woman and her two children, 5 and 15, found dead in their home, their luxury home in Bedfordshire, and the father nowhere to be seen. And then, of course, it emerged that the father was spotted at Heathrow Airport. And his eyes look blasted there to me. This guy, he looks like he's given up all hope. Now, whether we'll find out, hopefully we will find out, what is the reason why someone would just kill their whole family? One of his friends was on some TV program sort of saying what a great guy he was, which is not appropriate as far as I'm concerned. He can't be that great a guy who's massacred his whole family, two children. So he's not a great guy, of course. Anyway, off he went to Zimbabwe, they thought he'd gone to. But he's actually been arrested in South Africa. In South Africa. Hi, Louise. Yeah. And South Africa, we were talking about the fact that Zimbabwe doesn't have an extradition treaty. But, I don't think it matters if there's an extradition treaty or not. If it's a case like this, I think there's not many governments are not going to give up someone who's done a horrible crime like this. It's not a political crime, it's not anything that they could perhaps try and talk around it, justify not extraditing someone. This man has murdered his wife and his two children. So I think even if he would have been arrested in Zimbabwe or wherever he would have been, in Timbuktu, they're going to extradite him, I would think. Anyway, I'm going to put the picture of the family back up. These are his victims. He's been arrested in South Africa, and apparently he was intending to self-delete. He had a firearm. He was intending to take his own life, and the police have stopped him doing that, which I'm glad about, because he should be brought back to face the music, shouldn't he? He shouldn't, have the escape of, self-deleting and not having to account for his actions. He needs to be punished properly for what he's done to this poor family. Anyway, let me read the article. Where is it? Where's the article? In fact, I'm going to share this because you can see a picture of him being arrested. Yeah, so very good news. It doesn't bring this poor family back, of course. But thank goodness he has been arrested, and very quickly, really, because this was only the other day that it happened. Anyway, so the South African police came on and were saying, they were issued a red notice by Interpol, and then just within a couple of hours, they apprehended this guy. So I wonder how they knew where he was. It could be from his phone tracking. It could be somebody, his friend, a friend or family, phoned up and reported him. I don't know. We don't know yet exactly how they knew where he was, but they found him quickly. So share this. So a bit of good news, at least, but it's good news, obviously. Still sad because this family is still dead, but at least he's going to be brought back. Come on. Oh, come on, why won't you share it? Oh, there you go, it should come up now. No. It's taking its time, it doesn't want me to share it. Oh, it's showing on there. Yeah, I can see it now. So there he is in the back of the van. I mean, I presume that's how they've traced him. I don't know. So, Nodadana Mikayansi Tshuma, a British citizen of Zimbabwean origin, was arrested in the Johannesburg suburb of Kensington in an intelligence-led operation involving Interpol and South African police agencies. British authorities had been looking for Zuma in connection with the deaths of his wife, Zandile Tshuma, 42, and their daughters Natalie, 15, and Nala, 5. Their bodies were discovered at the family's home near Bedford, north of London. So, Acting National Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Puleng Dimpane said the arrest underscored South Africa's cooperation with international law enforcement agencies in tracking down fugitives. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was thinking of countries that I would least like to visit, South Africa would be one of them. I always think of South Africa as not a very safe country to travel to. I've had quite a lot of students from South Africa. I've got some students now who are from South Africa. And you know what? The end of apartheid, it's hailed as a brilliant thing. It hasn't actually been a good thing in many ways in Africa, in South Africa. Sadly, the new government isn't any less corrupt than the old government. And, there are no-go areas. You have to live in a gated community. There are places that as a white person you cannot go because you would be killed. And there are places as a black person you could not go because you would be shot. There was a case not long ago of two black people. I think it was two people that were near a farm, a white farmer's farm, and he shot them dead. It's a very, to me, I just wouldn't. I know it's a beautiful country, but it's a dangerous country. I wouldn't want to go there. I wouldn't dream of going there. Um, and also at the moment, there's a lot of unrest because there's a real, like in a lot of countries across the world, a very strong anti-immigrant sort of climate of anti-immigration, and there's a lot of this case has sort of landed in the middle of all that. Because the South Africa, like every country is the same. I think this is what we have. We don't want we don't want criminals in the UK, do we? People that have committed crimes going to the UK. We don't want people in Spain. All the British people that come to Spain because they've committed crimes, fleeing from crime, dangerous, violent people with such all the drug connections, etc. We don't want that in Spain either. Nobody wants it. There's not a country in the world that wants immigrants with criminal records. But the thing is, criminals will move around. That's obviously what they do. If someone commits a crime in the UK, a British person, it's easy for them to come over to Spain, lose themselves in the expat community. Happens all the time. And I think, people forget that. It's not exclusive to criminals going to the UK to hide. People leave the UK and go and hide in other countries. It's prevalent all over the world. And apparently in South Africa, there's a great big movement around it. So in South Africa, it's a big thing. So there is a big outcry about immigrants. So they won't have been happy with him going there after he's murdered his family, going and hiding in South Africa. So this is what the chief commissioner said. This arrest demonstrates that South Africa is not a safe haven for fugitives. Anyone who believes they can evade justice by fleeing to our country should know that the South African police service partners to trace, locate, and arrest them. I mean, it's good, really, isn't it? That the world's got so much smaller that for law enforcement agencies as well, it would have been once, you would have only have had to go. In fact, one time, probably you'd have only have had to go from London to Manchester to try and evade justice. Ian Huntley did that, didn't he? He went from the north to the south, even that because of all his, he had previous criminal offences for offences against young girls. Then, of course, that sort of got sorted, didn't it, with technology. Now there are background checks and stuff like that. What we've got now is you can't even go from one country to another because of advances in technology. And, that's what we'll have in the end. At the moment, like you've got the DNA database in the USA. Imagine if we had that for all countries, like a worldwide database. That's what these red letter things are. It's supposed to flag up when someone's on the run. It's supposed to flag up. They shouldn't be able to go from one country to another. Now we've got passports that are more digitally controlled, so should be eventually, it's a positive thing, isn't it? Eventually it should be that criminals are not safe anywhere. There's no place to hide. I do think it is going that way more now. And, good on South Africa for capturing this guy. Why should they have to put up with him? He's a British citizen. Even though he's originally from Zimbabwe, he has a British passport. Police spokesperson Athlenda Mathy said the necessary legal and extradition processes would be undertaken with UK authorities. Britain and South Africa have an extradition treaty. So, when we thought he was going to Zimbabwe, apparently they don't, but South Africa do. But suspects arrested in South Africa must still appear before the local courts before they can be extradited, which is fair enough. Sources familiar with the matter said that Zuma's lawyer's identity was expected to become clear when the case is called in court, and Zuma is scheduled to appear before a South African court on Monday. So that's good news, isn't it? I wonder if I can find, there might be a video that I can show from Sky News. Because I think it's been very quick as well. And apparently they stopped him from killing himself, which is good, because why should he be able to kill himself? It's like sort of part of you thinks, it'd be, good riddance to bad rubbish. But he should have to come home and account for his actions. You know, their family deserve that. Why did he do it? You know, everyone has a reason, even though it might be not be a reason that we can understand. Everybody has a reason, don't they, for what the right. Let's see if I've got a video to show. I mean, what a terrible tragedy for the rest of the family, you know? Just awful. Oh, right, let's show this. So this is the video of him being arrested that we're going to try and look at. If the video works okay today, you know, sometimes the videos can't get the videos to work, but there he is. Yeah. In this world, anyway. You can't avoid justice now. I expect he'll be on
Police arrest.
Keeps jumping about. Hang on. Right. I've got the video set up now. Just wait to see if it'll actually play.
Dadana, and can you see Tshuma was detained in Johannesburg, having apparently travelled to Zimbabwe from Heathrow Airport last Saturday. The bodies of Nothabo Zandile Tshuma and her daughters, 15-year-old Natalie and 5-year-old Nala, were found at a house in Great Denham 2 days later. Police in South Africa have praised the response of detectives.
A red notice was only issued yesterday, and within a matter of hours, our multidisciplinary team has managed to track this suspect to Kensington in Johannesburg this evening, where he is being placed under arrest. The swift arrest demonstrates the capability, the professionalism, as well as the operational excellence of the South African Police Service, and the strength of our cooperation with international law enforcement agencies.
Yeah, so sorry, it was a bit glitchy that, but yeah, but the thing is, it's true. These days, you can run, but you can't hide. You know, this global village that we live in, doesn't matter which country you run away to, you know, the internet reach is has no boundaries, does it? So, you know, there he goes, he's off, he went off to, he was straight on a plane to Heathrow, to Zimbabwe from Heathrow. He did not phone, you know, it reminded me a lot of the Sarah Sharif case, where the family there, they went off to their home country, didn't they? But at least he did have the decency, Sarah Sharif's father did have the decency to phone the police and tell them that Sarah was in the house, deceased. He didn't. He just left. He just left his wife and children in that house, see if anyone discovered them. You know, it could have been weeks before they were discovered. Terrible, horrible twonk. And I hope he gets, you know, everything that's coming to him. You know, there's no excuse to kill your wife and your children. If you're going through bad times, divorce them. You know, what's wrong with divorce? People don't. What's wrong with good old-fashioned divorce? People seem to resolve situations with murder these days, and also seems to be so common. Then they're killing their children as well. You know, so why? You know, if you're not happy, go and kill yourself. You know, if you're not happy or things are going wrong for you, well, that's your life, your choice to make, your life to live. But why take kill your wife and your children, your own flesh and blood children? How, it's just foul, isn't it? It's like there's not many worse crimes than that, killing your own children, surely. Anyways, it's court. So one way or another, justice is going to catch up with him. I mean, we knew it would catch up with him in the next world, but it sounds like it's caught up with him in this world as well. And that's good. So, yeah. Yeah, they're lovely little faces, bless him. And they probably love their dad. You know, what's so very, like cases like Chris Watts, all these family annihilators, they love their dads normally, or their parents. You know, sometimes women do it. We've got to be honest. Women do bad things too. It's not always men. But the children, they love their parents. You know, and this is their dad who they would, go to when they needed help. Or how can they do it to their own children? How can they look at them and do that to them? Just disgusting, isn't it? What a twonk. What an absolute twonk. Where's my what a twonk? I haven't used my what a twonk emoji for ages.